Shane, how's it going, mate?
Very well. I'm very well. Even though you're a Queenslander, that's okay.
Ah, thanks. Lucky.
This show is set. This show we're going to be chatting about. I've got to say, I liked it. I've seen all the 8 episodes, but was it a prerequisite that it was going to be set in Brisbane, and around Queensland?
You know, it was originally set in Melbourne,
Oh, right.
funnily enough, and that may be a little dirty secret that no one likes to tell, but why did we change it to Brisbane?
Probably because your influence, the local.
Yes, that's right. Let's stick with that. I think it was, it was set on the trams in Melbourne, and it had that kind of trammy, downtown urban kind of feel. But I think, Hoodlum being from Brisbane wanted to make it at home, and wanted to show and highlight Brisbane. Uh,
Yeah.
and it kind of worked really well that the tram just got changed to a bus, So yeah,
Like before, the show's called 2 weeks later, and we'll,
2 years
we'll
later. Sorry.
oh, 2 years later. Sorry, of
Yeah.
course.
2 weeks later, that would be, that's no time at all. Come on.
Well, why I got that mixed up is because it's over a period sort of 8 weeks, 8 dates. And did the number eight keep reoccurring, out of the blue subliminally or not really? Because
That
there's
was
a
a
lot of
magic
eights.
eight. Well, it's funny because he originally says 8 dates, but they don't turn out to be dates.
Yeah.
They're eight hangs,
Yeah.
and so by the end of the like when I watched it, by the end of the last episode, you're thinking, oh, I forgot about the 8 dates thing. I thought they were just hanging out. Um, No, not really. The number eight really is just set up at the beginning, and it didn't reemerge in any weird way, unfortunately.
Well, that's all right. I thought there might have been something that occurred, but all good.
Didn't get
Although,
the 8 figures on the salary on this one.
oh, and your co-star Phoebe, she was in a movie called The Eighth Day. So there's something.
There you go. I didn't
Yeah.
know
Uh,
that.
Speaking of Phoebe Tonkin, your co-star in this, there's a lot of chemistry and it has to work because of it. And it does work between you two. Had you known each other before or worked together before?
No, I'd known of her. We had friends in common. Um, but I'd never worked with her. I'd seen her work for many years, and I'd kind of enjoyed watching her career kind of blossom from,
Yeah.
H2O to going overseas in America and doing
Yeah.
and working for the CW, and then, Boy Swallows Universe was fantastic. So I think, we're a similar age, we had a similar trajectory. It kind of made sense that, that we were paired on this movie.
Well, I first interviewed her and have continued to interview her ever since 2010, tomorrow when the war began. So I've
Right.
seen her blossom as well on screen.
Yeah, I love that, by the way. That was great.
Yes, and it's really nice because every time I catch up with her, she remembers me. She remembers me from way back then, and we always like have a great interview. So it was good to see you both on screen together. And a lot of it, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of it seemed like there was long takes or monologues that were uncut, unless there was some secret edits. Was that the case?
Yeah, I mean, we performed those scenes like a play. We didn't really cut performance wise. I mean, there obviously is cuts in the film and in the show. But yeah, those long takes are really what I loved, like just being in between action and cut and relaxing in that scene and just kind of finding each different flow to it. I mean, episode 6 is there was chat about, do we make this a oneer? Do we shoot this in one shot?
Oh, really?
And Emma didn't want to do that because it might have hindered the episode a little bit, but we performed it as we were. We performed these 20-minute takes, one 20-minute block at a time, and each
Yeah.
different take had its own flow and its own colors, and yeah, I loved doing that. It was great.
And it was set pretty much just after the COVID era. That's pretty extreme. A lot of people have memories of where they were then. So was that a bit of a challenge, maybe going back to that era and setting the show in that time?
Yeah, I mean, it's really set 2 years later, 2 years after that time. But I think it was important to just get into the mindset at the beginning of the show, and which is just, I don't know, just melancholic, depressed, sad, lonely, just that
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm not used to talking to people. I don't care. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to, head down and just keep breathing. And also that thing of like, a lot of that stuff's not that clear, like people didn't were confused
Mm,
and not really understanding what is happening. And,
mm.
some people found these great kind of turning points in their life and were more creative or quit their job or sold their house or bought a farm like I did uh, and some people didn't, and I think it was important just to capture the mental state of what a lot of young people were going through, young people that are used to connection and intimacy and you know socializing and having
Of
taken
course.
away from them.
Yeah, I mean the fallout was still high. That's why I asked that question, even though it was 2 years later. So things were different, very different, I'm assuming, and you sort of played into that with the character.
Yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, even though it was, I mean, even now, people are still, I don't know, like you here in Melbourne as Melbournians, like, we had it a bit different up in Queensland, on the Gold Coast, everyone was kind of
Mm,
outside and surfing or whatever, but down in Melbourne, it just sounded like a different country, different
sure.
world. And that was more, I mean, that's why we originally, I think, wanted to set the show down in Melbourne because Melbourne was the worst,
That's right.
Um, so yeah, so I think, changing to Brisbane had a more uplifting, positive feel for the run of the show. But in the beginning, yeah, it was important to exactly capture, what it would be like 2 years
Mm.
after being stuck in a house.
And it's Bris Vegas. Who wouldn't want to be in Bris Vegas
It's
besides?
Bris Vegas. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Look, romance to me, I'm a hopeless romantic. Romance is not dead. I love the genre. Uh, is it different as an actor to try and be romantic and play that role rather than it being in action or a scary film or whatever it might be? Is romance hard to do and to be convincing?
Well, it's just imperative that you connect and relate to your other actor.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, in this, in romance, it's about people, right? Getting together. And I think you've got to find that flow with whoever you're working with, and just be organic with them. And I love that kind of style. Um, it's, it's like Ethan Hawke in Before Midnight, sorry, in the God damn it, in the Sunrise trilogy. I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, that's all right. In the Sunrise trilogy by Richard Linklater. We'll say that.
Yes, Richard Linklater. It's finding those like organic ticks and things that, only the moment can show. And yeah, I think I get that from the other person. I don't think it's really planning what you're going to do or looking a certain way or chin down or this or that. It's just being
Yeah.
open and trying to be relaxed and yeah, just being in the scene, being organic with your scene partner. So I love that, but it is very different to horror. Horror and genre filmmaking is, stunts and all that is more timing. It's more,
Mm.
angles. It's fun. It's on wires. There's vampires. There's teeth. There's blood and shit everywhere. It can be a lot of fun, but this is the opposite. It's, a different skill.
Well, I loved your work with Mike Flanagan and Oculus, so I hope you go back and work with him sometime or in that genre.
Oh yeah, Mike is a genius. Yeah, we had, very small budget for that film and he knew exactly what he wanted to shoot and only shot that shot. So yeah, and he's gone on to do great things. So I hope so too. I haven't heard from Mike since, but maybe
Uh,
this interview is going to get out there. Mike Flanagan, if you want to do a movie, let's do it.
yeah. He's in demand, but I don't see why he can't use you again down the track. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure. Oculus too, maybe.
Now, 2 years later, has female directors, and also a very distinct look about the show. Was there any differences on set, or do you finding that you're working or seeing more female directors in the industry?
I mean, definitely on this show, they're all female directors.
Yeah.
It was set up by a director. who was also one of the producers on the show, Emma Freeman, who was just amazing to work with. And I haven't met anyone who has worked with her who says anything different. She's just got this
Mm,
real confidence about her direction. She loves performers and actors, gives great notes, leaves you alone when you need to be left alone, and just isn't afraid to try things, is curious, is open. And it's such a rare quality in a director. It shouldn't be, but it was. I think Phoebe and I, speaking on behalf of Phoebe, but I feel comfortable doing that.
yeah.
Just had the most amazing time with her. She enabled us to let down our guard a little bit, which we obviously needed to do in order to connect and be vulnerable with each other. And yeah, maybe I wouldn't have been so open and vulnerable with a man directing. I'd like to think that I would be, but I think maybe there's something about having a show like this that
Yeah.
that is, the target audience is mainly for women. I like to think that young fellas are going to watch this and love it as well because I did. Um, and but I think it makes sense for the show to have, a little bit more of a female stance in the direction side of things. But, that being said, I would love to see, if we were to go again, I would love to have a little bit more of a mix, in the direction
Okay.
and just see what it's like to, have, maybe a few more fellas come in and direct. Dare,
Would
dare, dare
you
I,
would
dare
you
I be cancelled? But, but yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a good experience. You know, but yeah, I think also like the way the show was set up, it was really pushed from, Sophia Mogford at Paramount,
sure.
from Tracy Vieira at Hoodlum. I think the team around it were, you know, these these great women who were really pushing this show to be on the air.
For sure, I totally agree, and I really enjoyed it. I'm a guy, but like I said, I'm quite partial to a good romantic story, and it's emotional too, not just a light story. It has some heavy parts in it. Did you like audition? Were you handpicked for the role, or did you have to go through a process?
No, I didn't audition. I think Nathan and Tracy at Hoodlum, they got me in to do a table read, a cold read, just as a favor to hear it out loud. And
Yeah,
it was kind of a two birds with one stone tactic. It was there to hear Pete's script out loud, but also to pitch it to Sophia at Paramount. Um, and I guess they saw me do it and liked how I did it, and I did it and loved the piece. And and I was available, and yeah, they offered me the part, and it just made sense to go back and do it at that time. It was, it was a good timing for me because I'd come back from America and I was kind of floating around thinking, do I stay here? Do I go back? What do I do?
right.
Um, and it just worked out really well.
And cutting your hair was never an issue, that you could leave it long.
Every time I've worked with these goddamn producers, there's a hair issue that almost gets everyone sued.
Oh no.
I remember on Slide, I had brown hair on Sea Patrol, and I went to Slide and they dyed it blonde, and then I had a reshoot, and so there was this ridiculous battle of like, how are we going to get this hair? And we just dyed it with $5 hair dye, and it worked really well. But on 2 years later, I was the next day I flew down to Melbourne to do a horror movie, and they wanted my long hair, but I didn't want long hair. On 2 years later, I wanted, short hair because long hair I looked like a homeless heroin addict, and it just didn't work. And anyway, it worked out for the best. Safe to say, I got to decide what to do with my own hair, which was a wonderful moment for me.
As an actor, that made you happy.
Oh, it made my life, yes.
Oh, well, they're auditioning and searching for a new James Bond. I'm sure you get your hair cut for that if you, got picked or were in the mix.
Mate, I'll eat my own hat if the Brits hire an Aussie. I'll
Wouldn't it?
I'll eat
Yeah.
my own hat. They just unfortunately, unlike Australians, they love their own, and I
Mm,
love that about Britain and the UK and France and Italy and these smaller places that that really battle and fight for their own.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see an Aussie in the role. Obviously James Bond would be amazing to play, but at the same time, there's Bond-like things floating around everywhere. Like, I think the back in the day, James Bond as a tent pole was the thing to watch, and now you've
Sure.
got Terminal List, Dave the Jackal, which is fucking great.
Citadel. Citadel's another one.
Citadel, you've got the agency, and I love this genre. And so, yeah, look, Bond's Bond. It's fantastic. Denis Villeneuve is one of my favorite directors of all time. So I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. I'll be there, whether I'm in it or watching it. But yeah, I think that genre, that film and that property has inspired a whole array of fantastic shows.
Well, I wouldn't write you off yet, or Jacob, or any Aussie, because they went with George Lazenby once many years ago. So who knows?
Sure. And how did he go?
Look, if you revisit that movie, I've got to say, Breton, it holds up. It's actually better than you think.
All right, Brenton for Bond. How do we start the campaign?
Oh, well, before we wrap up, a couple more things on 2 years later. Roy Billing and Heather Mitchell. I mean, that's pretty iconic Australian actors that were in the show with you. How was it working with them? Magnificent, I suppose.
Oh, mate, they were great. I mean, Roy is just, he's a career actor. He's done so much different stuff over the years and some
Yeah.
great stories on set. And Heather Mitchell has the energy of a 21-year-old. She is just a firecracker that we all fell in love with. And it's just so easy to connect with, so smart, so empathetic and kind and encouraging and yeah, we all just kind of fell in love with her and I was blessed in the sense that she's my grandmother, so those colors I got to really parallel into the show. But yeah, it's a story that I can kind of connect with. I was my grandparents are both gone now, but uh,
Yeah.
my yeah, my grandfather died, and then my grandmother died a couple of years ago, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's that storyline isolated is very very relatable. It's very Aussie and relatable and sad and beautiful at the same time. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I had it was great. It was realistic, and all those scenes were very easy to act in because they just felt real. It was really easy to be in the scene with those guys.
Yeah, like I said, I think it was all really natural from the entire cast. But I mean, Emily Burton's also in it, the great Emily Burton, fellow Queenslander. I noticed her too. So great, great cast in the
Yeah.
foreground and the background, I think. Great show, great production.
Yeah, the supporting actors were fantastic, and it's all local, not all local Brizzy guys, but a lot of local Brizzy talent, popping up throughout the show. And the guy who played my uncle Ian, John, he was fantastic, and just
Yeah,
this, yeah, just this wonderful, kind, soft, patriarchal energy that was kind of littered throughout episodes, but it was kind of that on set, this, an old Shakespeare buff, theater actor, been doing
yeah.
it for 50 years, just learnt so much from him. And the extras as well were fantastic, which you don't always have. Sometimes you get some quirky, quirky, weird extras, but the ones on this show was just amazing, so supportive and professional.
And Brenton, outside of like movies and performing, what do you do? Like, did you keep up your cricket skills after Save Your Legs, or do you do other sports?
I watched that with my kids the other day. And they were like, "Dad, I didn't know you were so good at cricket." I was like, I wasn't. I don't think I was very good. I looked good. I looked good. Um, I honestly, I'm busy just on my farm. We're starting a regenerative farm. So we're
Oh,
kind of
cool.
researching different ways on how to, adapt, adopt new kind of new regenerative farming practices. Um, yeah, we're just talking to different kind of friends around, talking to um, yeah, different people around here.
Mm.
Because I don't know, that's just our dream. Me and my partner had this dream of starting a farm, and now I realize how much work is is involved, and how many things break, and how basically I'm a mechanic and a plumber now. That's what I do.
Is it harder being a farmer or an actor?
Oh, it's
A farmer.
that's a good question. It's it's harder being a farmer. Farming is
I'm
hard.
feeling.
It's great. It's a great challenge out there with my hands in the dirt. I love it. But it's you're on your own, which I'm not used to. I'm used to a set, people around. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
but it's great. It's a good balance. They're both very they work well together. Yin and yang.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And you got to mix it up. Exactly. I
Yes,
think.
exactly. You got to mix it up.
And to wrap it up, Cheers Later's a romance, as we spoke about. Besides The Blue Lagoon, The Awakening, what's your favorite romantic movie?
Blue Lagoon was fantastic. Thank you very much for saying that.
I bring up, I know your whole repertoire. I don't want to go one by one, but I've seen them all. I've seen your work over the years.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, I love romance. I think of that scene in Romeo and Juliet when Leo's looking through the glass, the fish tank at
Mm.
Claire Danes, and they're just looking at each other, but you can feel all the you feel all that butterflies, and you feel the bubbles, and you feel gooey inside. I just think that, for everyone, like men, women, like everyone can see that and feel that. And what a wonderful thing that is. And
Mm.
it's like lightning in a bottle. Sometimes you don't have chemistry on screen with your partner. And, we've seen those movies that don't have that. And so to do one that does have it, I think it's like, it's the greatest thing about cinema, in my opinion, is two people that have real chemistry and how that kind of transcends to the screen.
So Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet's your pick?
You know what? I actually really loved Solo Mio, which was a kind of a rom-com that came out this year. And
Yeah, it's
I,
new.
yeah, I watched it and I just thought, is it James?
Kevin James.
Kevin James was fantastic, and
Okay.
this brilliant Italian actress, Nicola. I blanking on her last name. Sorry, Nicola, but she is just they just works. They have real chemistry, and it just is amazing to watch. And it kind of is just this, I guess, run of the mill, guy goes to Rome to meet, but the chemistry in the frame with these two people is just off the Richter. Go check it out.
Well,
Juliet and Solo Mio, check it out.
I've seen almost everything. So you've just named one I haven't seen. So I will be checking that out.
Oh, mate, I loved it. I loved it.
Well, that's it. Thank you very much. In your own words, why should people watch 2 years later? I mean, it's a romance. It's got you and Phoebe talking about chemistry is fantastic. You've got great support cast, but in your own words, why should people tune into Paramount Plus for the show?
2 years later, it's a love story. It's a modern romance about these two people trying to, put trying to work through the challenges of
Yeah.
starting a successful relationship. And I think we can all relate to that. And it's awkward and funny to see and watch. And yeah, I hope you have a good time checking it out.
And you may cry. I know I did at one point. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you see bits of yourself. And I mean, I think Aussies will really connect with it. They'll see bits of themselves in the show somewhere. But yeah, it's got its ups and downs.